Hello everybody. Welcome to the new launch of Artificial Intelligence 2.0. My name is Pablo McAllister. I am responsible of customer success here in Asuit, and I am here today with Murilo Almeida, expert on artificial intelligence. And how are you,
Hi
Murilo?
there, everyone. Yeah, I'm doing
Okay,
great. Really excited to show what we have, the new features we have to show everyone.
excellent. I know that you have been working on this future for a long time, okay, with all the teams. So I can imagine that you are really excited today to show and this new future to all our customers.
Yeah, it's like our baby. We're putting our baby out into the world.
That's great. That's great, Murilo. So obviously, this is another of all the launch that we have done in during the year. This is a really important one, but we have done all others, and you can help me to remind a few. But we have done WhatsApp, okay, all the WhatsApp launch. We have done as well the follow ups. So
Right.
obviously, along all the year, we are always trying to improve the tool and always trying to bring everything and that could help to the customers to keep um, adding new things to the platform and keep adding obviously the best and for all of our customers. Okay, so today, Murilo, I am going to start presenting now, okay, a little bit of what is the artificial intelligence and what we are going to be seeing on this new launch of artificial intelligence 2.0.
All right.
So, first of all, we are going to try to do it everything a little bit easy, okay, for all of you. We are not going to create really technical words. I am going to try to translate it in the easiest way as possible, okay? So, what we are going to be seeing today on this launch. We are going to start and doing a little intro to artificial intelligence 2.0. After we are going to talk about the benefits of it, okay? And later on, Murilo will be explaining in action, okay? And going through the dashboard, all the different details about this new artificial intelligence 2.0. And he's going to do as well a few tests and that he will be showing you on the dashboard. Success cases, we are going to be overviewing the different success cases that we have done on the test modes. Highlights, we are going to bring you all the highlights of this feature. And optimizations, we have done different tests, okay, and we are going to talk about this later on during our presentation. And to finish, we are going to go through questions and answers that obviously all of you will have. So now let's go to talk a little bit to make a little intro to artificial intelligence 2.0. The first thing that we are going to talk about is what is artificial intelligence, okay? And this is something and we are always listening everywhere, and it's good to just have a definition of what is the artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence refers to systems or machines that mimic human intelligence to perform tasks and can repeatedly improve based on the information they collect. Okay, so here on Asuit, we use this artificial intelligence at all time, every time that obviously and our tool is interacting with the travelers. So this is the definition that we have by Oracle. And now let's go to talk a little bit about what is natural language processing, okay, NLP. That as well, we listen a lot, okay, about this, and perhaps we are not sure what is it. So through unstructured and text-based data, NLP applications are used to extract insights and interpret user intentions. Okay, so what it means this that perhaps looks a little bit complex. We will say that machines can understand and interpret all the natural language, all the human language. Okay, so this is just to put it on simple words. This is the definition made by Google. Okay, now let's go to talk a little bit about the benefits. Okay, which benefits is going to bring to the hoteliers, what benefits is going to bring as well and to the users. Okay, to have this artificial intelligence 2.0. So the benefits: automation to save time, okay, for hotel staff and other for AI logics. And this launch that we are doing now with artificial intelligence 2.0 is like the fifth logic, okay, that we are adding to the already existing four AI logics that we have working with our tool. And this is going to be a little bit more explained by Murilo and later on in the presentations. Data enrich business insights, okay? Data to enrich business insights. Why is that? We are going to bring you a lot of that new data into the dashboard. It's going to appear a new window on the dashboard and on your administrative panel. That Murilo as well, he's going to explain a little bit more on detail later on. And where we are going to bring you all the data, okay, and from that the tool will collect along all this and automation, okay? Now, robots understanding rate increases. Here, obviously, more and the tool is working, okay, in the different channels. Here we see that and our tool is present in all these different channels. More the tool is working, more understanding rate increase, okay, because the logic and the algorithm is starting to work and improving itself. How does the traveler benefit from all this? Enhance ability to the robot to satisfactorily answer more questions. Okay, this is something really important. It's going to obviously reply in a better way. More teachings we are going to be adding. The robot is going to be capable to understand more and be replying to all the inquiries of our customers in a faster way. Okay. Increase speed in resolving inquiries about the hotel or price quote. Here as well, obviously, the resolving the inquiries in a faster way is going to help that the traveler ended up obviously asking for a price quote in a faster way, okay, and have a good customer journey as well. And for last, improved translation of answers to teaching published by the hotel. When we talk about obviously this and to improve translations, we are talking about that now our tool is capable to create translations, okay? It's capable to do all the translations from the languages that you have picked during your implementation process. So you are going to create a teaching in one of the languages, and we are going to translate and that teaching to all the rest of them. But Murillo will explain in a more punctual way this later on. Now, what are the benefits for hotel teams? So we have the general administration. Okay, for the general administration, we are going to improve traveler satisfaction with the robot. Obviously, our tool is going to increase their intelligence and is going to be capable to reply to the different questions and straight away. Create offline actions based on travelers' most common intentions. We are going to be capable to have all the most frequent and common intentions. Okay, we are going to bring you all this information to you, and you are not going to be needing to be looking for that information. So after, based on these most common intentions, you can create offline actions based on it, okay? Marketing. Create new teachings that really matter with a stronger basis. Automation saves time, obviously seeking misunderstood phrases, and we are not going to be anymore seeking for misunderstood phrases. We are going to bring it automatically to you, okay? So this is really important. Before perhaps we were lacking on this, but now we are doing everything as possible to bring you everything, filter it, everything to you automatically, okay? Create targeted and more assertive campaigns. Obviously, with all this information, you can target and do more assertive campaigns. And for cessation, automation saves time, as well as we were saying how important is the automation, okay? Now, let's go to and see how this algorithm is working, okay? Murilo is going to explain it a little bit more, but I am going to show you a little bit how it's going to work this. Now, travelers need to assert the same keyword at least 5 times, okay? They have to be asking for it for at least 5 times. And we are going to filter all that information and bring it to you on the dashboard, ready to be uploaded. When I say ready to be uploaded, is that you are going to have the more suggestions and the more the keywords that they are at least 5 times ask it for the customers. We are going to bring it all, filter it, put it on the dashboard to you. And obviously, this is really important. A hotel team member needs to register the response for the teaching to become active, okay? This is important to know it, but imagine the next. We have done everything automatic, and there's only one step that is really easy and takes only a few seconds that Murillo will present it later on, where obviously a hotel team member needs to register the response for the teaching to become active. Why we did this? Because we want that actually the message that you are giving and to the traveler is the one that you want to give, not the same as perhaps the hotel in the at the corner of our property is giving. No, we want really to transmit and what the hotel have to transmit to their guests. Okay, just in simple words, we want to give them the real word to and our customers. Now the
Pablo,
AI,
I think,
yeah,
excuse me, but I think something important for us to clarify for people who may not be clients yet. The robot already understands a lot by default. It already has, like you mentioned, other four logics with a lot of common hotel language and questions that it already understands. And we're talking about the robot maybe not understanding something specific to your hotel at least 5 times, and then we can make it understand that as well. But that's on top of all the base understanding it already has by default.
excellent, excellent. Thank you very much, Murillo. And the AI support team continues to monitor the new recommendation algorithm for quality assurance. Okay, we are going to be overviewing this quality and obviously giving to you in the best way as possible. And so, Murillo, right now, what do you think? And obviously, if you can start explaining a little bit more on detail of what we are talking about, okay?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to show how the platform actually works. We've already talked a little bit about the benefits it's going to bring and how it's going to improve the experience of using our platform, but we're going to see it in practice. So I'm going to start by showing the dashboard tab, which is a new tab we have for artificial intelligence, showing a lot of data and statistics about how the robot's working right now, some insights it can bring based on what people are chatting with the robot at the moment. I'm also going to show the registration of a new teaching from the beginning. So, if you want to create something new content for your robot, something new you want it to be able to understand, how you do that from scratch, which is really simple. And finally, we are going to look at the recommended teachings that the robot is automatically um, finding based on sentences that it didn't understand previously and suggesting. You just need to put in an answer, and um, it will start to understand the new teaching. So what we're looking at right now is the new artificial intelligence tab on the dashboard. First thing I want to show you guys is that we have a banner here already saying that we have a new suggestion. We have this little red circle here, which is also telling us there is a new suggestion. We're going to go to that in a moment. But the robot's really letting you know that it has automatically picked up on stuff that it isn't understanding yet. It should be understanding. It's letting you know that it's ready for you to just activate. But looking at this screen first, the first little bit of information we have here is regarding our understanding rate. So we have an assertiveness rate and an AI understanding rate. The difference between these two is because we are talking about how the robot can help the traveler, right? So in the assertiveness rate, we're looking at both buttons and AI. In R2, you can interact with the robot by clicking buttons that are going to take you through the let's say, a journey of questions that make sense contextually and can lead to a price quote. But you can also talk to it using open text, just asking questions. And here we're looking at like how many of those interactions the robot has been successful in helping out the traveler. And on the right side, we have the AI understanding rate, which is looking exclusively at the understanding for the text. So the AI, where the robot is looking at text that was typed to it and how it can understand that text. We have here a gauge that is showing you how well your robot is doing, but it's important to know that the objective here is not necessarily to meet 100%. You're going to notice that there is a little tooltip here in which we are explaining that we've done a lot of research, including research by, universities and very controlled environments, top-notch technology. And we are considering that 92% understanding rate for the AI exclusively is a realistic objective to reach. Over that, with our current technology, we're not going to say it's impossible, but it's just not a realistic target because it depends on variables that might be out of anyone's control. And just for reference, even human beings can understand 100%. I know everybody has had a conversation in their life in which they have to go like, pardon me, can you say that again? So there is an article. You can click on this link to see an article that is really showing out the research and showing you how we got to those numbers. But basically, what we're looking at here is how well the robot is understanding via text. And you can use this as a basis to try to understand it. We have the average of ESCFIT as a whole, so you can base it off of that too. And here we're looking at this number on the last 30 days, right? So it's getting updated every day. But we also have a graph to the right, which shows you the understanding over time. So we have with every month here, what was the average on that month particularly, and we can see if it's progressing, if it's maybe having trouble with something new, maybe there's something happening nearby the hotel that the robot isn't ready to talk about, and that's affecting its understanding rate, and you can really know how it's developing over time. If we keep going down, we're going to have the new teachings recommended by the AI. So here we're going to have a list. Right now we only have one, but we're going to have a list of teachings that the robot is recommending based on sentences it didn't understand. So just to highlight it once more, the robot already understands a lot by default. We are dealing with hotels, so we know there's a lot of common questions and common subjects that you're going to need to understand in every hotel. And the robot already does that fantastically by default. The reason we have the teachings option is because your hotel is going to have specific subjects, specific topics that maybe not every other hotel has, and you want the robot to be able to understand that as well. You want to be able to customize it for that. So the robot will notice automatically, without you having to do anything, that he's not understanding a few sentences that apparently have something in common, right? He's going to check those keywords and notice that they are about the same thing. So he's going to tell you here that, hey, a lot of people are talking about hurricanes. Maybe you want to let me know what to answer to those people. And it's going to be over here. I'm going to show you in a moment how we just add this one to the robots. We're going to see that very shortly. But to the right, we have the published teachings. So this hotel in particular already has a lot of teachings. And here we can see which ones they are, how many times they have been used in the last 30 days, and so on. The idea here is that you can get a lot of insight out of this. For instance, let's say you register a new teaching about a concert that's going to happen nearby the hotel, and you see that a lot of people are asking about that. So you can use this as an indicator of how much interest there is on that concert that's happening nearby. Or maybe the robot has, suggested hurricanes, and you add it, and you notice in this tab that there's a lot of people asking about hurricanes. So now apparently my guests are really concerned about hurricanes. Maybe I should talk a little bit more about that in my marketing and so on. So this could give you a lot of insights about which are the most requested subjects that are specific to your hotel and that you might be able to use in marketing and so on. And if you keep going down, we also have the option to see the phrases not understood by the robot. So here we are looking at every single sentence the robot didn't understand for whatever reason. Because if you're not satisfied with the robot giving you the automated suggestions, you still have the option to take a look at this, see what it didn't understand, maybe see the conversation to get some context, add it to an existing teaching, or create a new one, right? So we're going to look at this a little bit more in depth, but first there's a new screen I would like to show you guys. So if you click on this button over here, the Teach Robot button, you're going to see this screen. At first, it's going to be filtering to show you only the robot suggestions because, again, the robot really wants you to give him that answer. The robot can automatically notice he's not understanding something, but he can't possibly know what is the correct answer. So if somebody's asking about, I don't know, the dinner menu, like the robot's not gonna know what is in the dinner menu or how much it costs. It needs a human to give him that answer so that it can start giving the right answer to everybody. So it's gonna get your attention here to say, hey, please give me the answer for that. But if we disable this filter, we're gonna know every single teaching that we have here. And here we can edit an existing teaching or create a new one. So let's just see how it works to create a new teaching. I was talking about dinner, so let's create one regarding dinner here. The description is just basically the title of the teaching. It doesn't affect anything. It's just so you can organize yourself. You can then use the keyword, which is the first field we have that does affect the understanding. It's going to ask for units. So if you have more than one unit in your hotel chain, you can select multiples here. And a new thing we have now is the language. So by default, it's going to select the default language of the hotel. If you have more than one language available on your hotel, it's going to have the other options here. And you can create teachings in different languages. What this means is that you can either create a teaching in a single language, and the robot, knowing which language that is, will be able to translate and try to understand that even when people are talking to it in other languages. But also that gives you the ability to customize how the robot treats those translations. So like if you really want to be careful about how the robot is understanding the translated versions of those teachings, you could create the same teaching in another language and just have full control over what is being understood and how the robot's processing that, which just gives you another level of making that reliable instead of automatic translation, which we all know Google Translate can sometimes be a bit faulty when translating. So nothing better than going in there and having full control over that. You have that option here too. I just typed dinner here in the keyword, but you're going to notice that the robot's already suggesting a few synonyms for me. So I could choose a few that I think make sense here, or I could type new ones, for instance, dinner menu or something like that. And the robot's also going to give me a lot of warnings of stuff that could be harmful if I do something here. So for instance, this hotel already has another teaching for private meals, private dinner. So if I do something like this, it's going to give me a warning saying that the synonym is already registered in the private dinner teaching. It's letting me know that it's going to be confused if I leave this here. So there's a lot of warnings like this that are just making sure we don't make mistakes if I mistype something. So for instance, if we go to the next step here, we're going to start using the sentence examples that the robot's going to use to try to match with what is being typed and understand those. I could say stuff like, I like to know about the dinner menu. And the robot will automatically recognize that the keyword or the synonym I typed up here is in this part of the sentence. So you don't have to worry about telling it where to put another synonym and stuff like that. It's just doing all of that automatically. And let's say I type something wrong. I could say like dinner menu, but I forget the R or something. It's going to give me an error. It's going to let me know that this isn't a keyword or synonym. There's something wrong with this sentence. So, I typed it wrong. Let me fix that, right? So it's going to give me a lot of warnings, just making sure nothing goes wrong here. And again, it's suggesting me a lot of phrases here, which is basically sentences that actual users have talked to this robot that have to do with what I am registering right now. So it's just noticing that I'm talking about dinner, and hey, there's some stuff about dinner here that I wasn't able to understand maybe when I added to this teaching. So it's just really giving you everything you need to make this as easy as possible. Here, when it comes to the phrases, we are asking for at least 5 because we want to have enough so the robot can process that and figure out how to understand that topic. But you can put as many as you want here. So there's really room for it to get as good as it could possibly be. And if we keep going, we have the answers. So here you can answer with just a text, which would be the most common one, I suppose. But you can also like add an image. You can add a button that sends you to a page on our website, or maybe to a PDF with your dinner menu, which is what we're talking about right now. You can mix and match those however you want. So a lot of options here for people who are already customers. You're going to notice there's a lot of new stuff here and new ways to customize and have control over your teaching. Um, and we know that life in a hotel is, it's very busy, a lot of stuff going on. So let's say you're doing this and in the middle of it, you have to deal with something else. You have the option to save it as a draft. So it's just going to be there waiting for you. When you come back, you can just keep registering the teaching from where you left it off. If you're done, you can just save the teaching, and then it's going to be on the screen ready to be published. Just publish teachings, and it's done. The reason for the published teachings here is just you can create more than one at once and then publish them all at the same time and let the AI do its thing, right? If we go back to the dashboard, I was telling you about the recommendations of the AI. So we have this hurricane teaching here, which is a suggestion that the robot has made based on things it didn't understand. And we can click on this edit button. It's going to take us to that same screen, but now you're going to notice that it's already completely filled in. It already knows it's about hurricanes. It already knows that is in the hotel I'm currently editing. The language is already selected. And it's even suggesting some synonyms to me based on the keyword of hurricane. So I could add other stuff here that I think makes sense to what we're talking about. We keep going down. It already has the sentences that it has noticed it wasn't understanding based on hurricane. And since this suggestion was made, it has found a few others talking about hurricane. So I could add a few of those as well if I want to. Basically, the only thing you're required to do here, like I said, is give the robot the answer. The robot's telling you, like, hey, a lot of people are asking about hurricanes. What do I answer then when they say that? This is the only required piece of information that you need to put here. Save teaching, published, it's done. So everything is doing automatically except the part that we really don't know because it really needs, someone from the hotel to let us know, or let the robot know rather, what is the right answer for that. And that's the only thing that they require from you. We go back to the screen. You will remember I have mentioned that you can also check the sentences that the robot didn't understand. So let's say, for instance, we've been past the pandemic already, but let's say I'm looking if there's people talking about COVID still. The robot's searching for the sentences, and okay, there's some stuff about COVID here it wasn't able to understand. So what do you do when someone gets COVID? Okay, let's take a look at this. We could add it to an existing teaching, for instance. We already have one here, or create a brand new one, depending if this was something else. Let's add to an existing one just to see how that works. So we have all the teachings that already exist in this hotel here. We could search for COVID, for instance. Okay, we have two teachings about COVID. I want to add to this one. So just click on the button. And if we go down to our sentences here, we have a few warnings to check. But what do you do when someone gets COVID? So the sentence is already here. I could just save it and it's figured out. It already has a lot of other suggestions here based on things people didn't understand. So it's really making the process as easy as possible, making everything as automated as possible, right? When it comes to our presentation of the new dashboard, right, the new screens, I guess this is it. But we want to share with you guys some of our success cases. What are the results we can expect from this? Because we have this brand new tool and a reworking of stuff we already had, but what does that mean, right? What does that bring me? So let's look first at VMZ Viagens, which is a travel agency here from Brazil. It was one of the beta testers here, so we are comparing from April to August, and it was using the feature in between this time. So just so we have an idea of what we're talking about, we are talking about a very similar volume of messages between the two periods. And in number of published teachings, this particular client started with 14, and by the end of the use of this tool, it had 54 teachings created in the robot. And again, this is all customized topics and subjects, which in the case of a travel agency, there was plenty of that. So it had a very, very big increase in the number of teachings. And that's absolutely reflected in the understanding rate. So in the case of this customer, because of being a travel agency and having a lot of very specific subjects to be talked about, packages and stuff like that, we started with this client at 39% understanding rate, which is pretty low, honestly. But only using this feature with automated suggestions and new teachings being added to the robot, it went up to 60%, and it's still improving to this day, right? This is when we finished our test, but it's still going up. So it's a very, very big potential for improvement here based on this single feature. Another client, so just we see a completely different scenario here. We have Vivas Cataratas, which is a resort from Brazil as well. Also tested in the same period, and just so we know, we're talking about similar volume of messages. Have had a little bit more in the later period, but it's still comparable. So it started with 18 published teachings, and it ended with 27, which is not as huge a difference as previously. But it's worth noticing that this customer already had a 79% understanding rate, which is already very, very good. And using the new feature, went up to 94%, which is even beyond the 92% I told you guys was the realistic objective, right? So you can really do a lot of things with this, a lot of potential to improve in many, many different ways.
Well, thank you, Murilo. Really was excellent how you presented and how you show us how obviously this works. Yeah, because it's something really really important how you are actually showing us on the how we can do it in the tool straight away. So thank you very much for that. Now we are going to see really easy in an easy way the virtual assistant optimization ads. Okay, we are going to be going through the Murilo, I think that you have to keep showing the slide open. Thank you very much. So we are going to see how these tests they were actually created. Okay, so first we are going to check the impact of lead collection fields. Okay, that is something that actually a lot of our customers has, but we are going to see what is the impact of name, email, and phone fields. Okay. Second, we are going as well. All this is going to be presented by myself. Okay, right now, it's going to be presented by Murilo, and after I will present the second point. So, how much does abandonment and on the price quote from increase, and what can the hotel do? Second, we are going to see, and this is what I will present later on, identify ways to optimize the flow of the chat's buttons. Okay, we have done thousands of tests here, and this is in really important information that we want to share with all of you. And what are the possible ways to increase the price quote volume? What can the hotel do? And if you want, and Murilo, you can start actually presenting these lead collection fields, yeah?
Right. So we're going to talk first about the impact of lead collection fields, which is a feature that we have here. We can collect information about the lead, the traveler, as it asking for a price quote. So there's a form similar to this. It can be customized to some extent. But it's going to ask a little bit of information about the traveler that is interested in a price quote. And we did a few tests with a lot of reliability. We test over, long periods with a lot of different types of customers. And we are comparing here what happens when you look at some types of forms, like asking for names or phone, and what happens when you just remove email from it, right? So if we were only asking for email, so in this form to the side here would be just number of adults, number of children, which is necessary information for the price quote, and then only the email. If we remove the email and now we're not asking for any information at all, right? At first, we have 13.77% people leaving the chat and not getting that price quote because the robot was asking for the email. And without asking with the email, we had only 6.16% of people leaving the quotation. So that's a 55% decrease in the abandonment rate, right? In people leaving because you're asking them for information. If we were asking for name and email, we had 16.28% people leaving the price quote flow. And by removing the email, 8.71% of people leaving, which is a 46% reduction. And then if we're asking for name, email, and phone, we had 21.66% people leaving. And by removing email from that, 13.52%, which again, a 37% reduction in the abandonment rate. Now, similarly, we did the same text with the phone field. So again, very high level of reliability. And if we were only asking for the phone number, 15.4% of people leaving, and if we don't ask for anything at this point, only 1.79% of people leaving the flow of the quotation, right? The form, an 88% reduction. If we were asking for name and phone, 20.81%. If we don't ask for the phone anymore, so only name, 8.99%, 57% reduction. And finally, if we were asking for name, email, and phone, and now we're not asking for phone anymore, we go from 20.81% to 16.87%, which is a 23% reduction. So a lot of numbers, a lot of percentages, but what does that mean? Basically, we have over 450 customers that have lead collection enabled and do not do anything with that collected data. So some actions that we have available on the platform, right? You can integrate with the CRM via Ask Store and use that lead information for your CRM. You can export the data of the lead for campaign tools from like HubSpot or Dstation Lead Lovers and others. So you can actually create campaigns using that information. And we have the ability to do WhatsApp campaigns within Ask2, which can use that information to send people messages and try to get new reservations that way. But we have a lot of people who are not doing that, right? So by default, lead collection will be turned off. And we will explicitly warn customers the impact of the adding that information or requesting that information to the price quote volume if it is enabled. So to sum it up, right? If you have it enabled and you do not perform any of those actions that I mentioned, either like if you don't have someone available to perform any of those three actions, disable the lead collection, which will increase the volume of price quotes for your hotel. There's a lot of people that are just not going all the way to the end and asking for the quote just because you're asking them for information, and that can make them afraid for some reason. Now, if you have someone available, if you can use that information, you can do a lot with that, and it can definitely pay off at the end. Just make sure that you're doing at least one of those three actions, or maybe all three even, but use that information for something. Make sure that the cost it's having in quotations that are not getting made because of that is paying off in other campaigns and marketing campaigns and other stuff that you're doing with that information. So consider creating a WhatsApp campaign via AskSuite, for instance, which is very easy, and you can do that with the lead information. It's definitely going to pay off, right? Pablo, would you like to present the next part?
Sorry, Murilo, thank you very much for passing me. I am going to present the rest of the information. Really useful information, Murilo, thank you very much. And now we are going to be presenting something that is really, really important, okay? Some of the other tests that we have done that will help us, obviously, to understand in a better way what these tests they were about. So first of all, we are going to identify ways to optimize the flow of the chats button, okay? So here we are going to see. This test, we have done a lot of tests, okay, to come to this conclusion. So the first one is, chat, can I help you with anything else? Now, on this section, what we have done on this dialogue, we have add a quote button, okay, along with the bottom menu. So as you see, we have add the get a quote button. We have increment the volume of price quotes, okay? On the A test, we have went from 404 to 476. So we have increased 17% the price quotes. Now, on the chat, did I answer your question? We add as well a get a quote button, and we add it as along with yes or no buttons, okay? Here, the volume of price quotes on the A test, they were 689. And after we add the get a quote button, we increase it to 781. So this was an increase of 13%, okay? So we are talking about a big, big increase. Now transform the home menu into 3 buttons. We have seen that on the opening menu, the menu that all our customers have, we add a get a quote button. I already have a reservation and more options or see other options. Here, having this main menu added, we have seen that the volume of price quotes went from 1083 to 1043. So this is an increase of 34%, okay, of the volume of the price quotes. We are talking about in huge numbers. And here we see Bugs Bunny counting already the ROI. And all the three previous tests together. What happened if we put the three previous tests all together, okay, and working on the different dialogues and on the main menu when opening the chat? If we do this, we are going to see that we went from 3,739 to 5,391 on this test. So this was an increase of 44%. We are talking about 44% increase of price quotes. So this is something, an information that obviously all of you have to be taking care of, okay? And how we are going to help you with all this information? Easily. The conclusion is, for the chats, did I answer your question and can I help you with anything else? Leave the get quote button as the default, okay? And to enable the optimized home menu, that is this one that we have just showing you before, and get our new free app called Optimize Home Menu layout in the App Store. You will see that on the App Store, and you will see that this Optimize Home Menu layout is ready to be installed. So if you want to see the new layout, you can click on it. And if you decide to obviously install it, just go for it. It's going to bring you the possibility to have and these numbers that we were seeing right now. Okay, so the possibility to increase the ROI and in a really big time, and we are talking about 34% on price quotes. So now we are going to do a little bit of questions and answers. So we are open and to be replying to any of the doubts or inquiries that you have.
Right. Yeah. I see we already have one from Dylan. He mentioned a little bit ago that the 5-time criteria appears to be safety net, so hotels don't have critical inquiries going unanswered over time. Yeah, exactly. We want to make sure that even if there is something that perhaps is very important and very fundamental for your hotel, but it's something specific that maybe it's not part of everyone else's hotel. So like maybe some type of membership or some type of package that is present all over. And it's not just a seasonal package, but it's present during the whole year or something like that. Maybe you can have a lot of people asking about that, and the robot's not going to be able to understand that by default, right? Because it's very specific to you. We want to make sure the robot's capable of understanding all that, but we also don't want to overwhelm you with stuff that may not be relevant or new suggestions all the time, but maybe got asked only once and never going to be asked again. So we have at least 5 occurrences as a criteria exactly, so we can validate that it is relevant, that it does make sense. We don't want to keep throwing stuff at you and asking your attention all the time for things that are not going to be relevant, right?
Let's go to see if there's any other questions.
Yeah, we had a compliment here. So nice work, Esksuit. I think you have a great direction. Well, thank you. Yeah, we put a lot of effort into researching and testing all of that. So we tried very many different ways, and we're really focused on making it as automated as possible. Again, the only reason why the robot's not adding new teachings by itself is because we need you to let us know what is the right answer for it. So if someone asks for the price of a different service you have in your hotel, you just you just have to let us know what is the correct price, and the robot will be understanding and replying to that. So it's as easy as it could possibly be. But we're still also working on it all the time, making sure the algorithm is even better and catching even more stuff so it can give you more relevant suggestions all the time. So behind the scenes, it's still getting better all the time. But we're really put a lot of effort into making sure this is all relevant and it makes sense for the operation of the hotel on a daily basis, and a lot of tests, a lot of effort put into it. All right, so I think we may not have
Murilo,
any
we
more
don't have
questions.
any more questions. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for having today here with us. And Murilo, thank you very much for all your clear explanations along the process, and obviously, and to show us in a really clear way how this is the theory of the artificial intelligence work. Yeah. So thank you very much
Yeah, well,
for that, and was a pleasure to be today here with you, and hope to see you soon in another
equally so. Thank you.
of our launch. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna have many other great things to show you guys over time, and this is not the last time we're talking. You make sure you see my face here more often now.
Excellent, Murilo. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, everybody, and hope that you have a beautiful afternoon. Bye bye.
For you too. Thank you.